today's United Policyholders Roadmap to Recovery workshop focused on overcoming home insurance and wildfire recovery challenges if you are a mobile or manufactured homeowner. I'm not quite sure which part of the state of California you all are in. What we're going to do is encourage you as we go along to use the Q&A. Is that what we're going with, Carolyn, Q&A or chat? We're going to go with Q&A. So if you have questions during today's program, you're welcome to try to type them in to the chat window using your the Zoom control panel that you have either at the bottom or top of your screen. And we are joined today by not one, but two Spanish language interpreters, so that if Spanish is your preferred language, we are bringing you the information in either English or Spanish. And the way that you will listen to the Spanish version, the translated version, is by going to the bottom of your screen and clicking on the little globe icon and choosing Spanish. So I'll give you a minute to do that. And then we're going to get started. Oop, okay, hang on here. Got a little issue. Okay. All right. Hopefully you can see it now. Yes? No. Okay. Yes. Okay. A little bit about our organization. We have been helping disaster survivors and advocating for insurance consumers since 1991. So next year will be our 30th year of service. We are not for profit, not for sale. And we say that because we don't take money from insurance companies, although we have a lot of expertise in insurance. We don't take money from insurance companies so that we can have a strong and independent voice for you, the person who has bought insurance and needs and wants and is entitled to all the protection that you paid for. So while we do know a lot about insurance, we don't sell it, and we don't accept funding from insurance companies. We are funded by donations and grants. We're very grateful to the foundations and the donors who help us get our work done. And a lot of our work gets done by our staff and by our volunteers. We have a phenomenal core of people who have been through a wildfire and got help from our organization, learned a lot about insurance and recovery, and are now part of United Policyholders. So we are trusted and respected all across the country. And here in California, we work very closely with the Department of Insurance to solve problems when they come up. And previously, when a mobile home community in Sylmar was destroyed, we did a lot of work with the Department of Insurance, helping people make sure that they were getting every dime of coverage. And we know, regardless of what part of the state you're in, whether you were hit by the fires in Lake County, or whether you're in the Santa Cruz area, or whether you're down south, all the points that we're going to be making apply to you equally. We run 3 programs, and what I'm bringing you today is through our Roadmap to Recovery program, and that's where we focus on giving people in your situation basic guidance, encouragement, and support as you move through the phases of getting back on your feet after a fire has taken so much from you. We also do preparedness work, and we do advocacy work in Sacramento and in the courts around the state. So We do have a professional staff. I'm one of them. And then we have partners, other nonprofits, and government agencies. And we also have, as I said, volunteers. And some of our volunteers are professionals. They are people that you could hire to help you with a claim, or lawyers that you could hire if you had a legal problem, tax experts. And so I encourage you to, now that you've registered for today's workshop, if you know people that could use our help, please forward our information to them. And when you get an email from us, you can know that it's not spam and it's not junk. We only try to give information that's useful, news you can use. And so in the coming months, if we offer a workshop or a clinic where we bring free tax specialists or lawyers, we encourage you to use those resources and spread the word to people that you know. That's me. I'm a lawyer. I co-founded the organization, and I have been helping people in your situation my whole career. I know a lot about insurance, but my goal is to make sure that you get a fair shake from your insurance company. And that isn't always easy, as you may know, since you're dialing into today's program. We have a library for people who have been impacted by wildfires this year. And since there were so many of them in different parts of the state, we have one library for all the California wildfires. And in that library, you will find self-help publications. And what we say is, when you buy insurance, when you bought insurance for your home, mobile home, manufactured home, your home, it gave you coverage, meaning dollars, to make repairs or replace assets, assets being your house and your possessions, but it also gave you the right to good claim service. And by that, I mean your insurance company should have by now already been helping you. They should have been giving you good service. They should have been explaining the rules to you of what they needed from you in terms of proof or photographs. And they should have been cooperating with you. So you get, when you buy insurance, you get the coverage, the protection, but you also should get the good claim service. And so we're here to help you get both of those things. And if you can't, we're also here to point you in the direction of more help. Because we have learned over the years that while insurance funds are the most important source of the money that you need to get your life back as close as possible to the way it was before the fires, those funds don't always flow as they should. And we're not here to tell you that you have to be fighting tooth and nail with your insurance company, but we're here to tell you that the ads that you've seen about insurance are ads. And what you really are in is a business negotiation. Here's the phone number for the California Department of Insurance. That is a free resource for you, just like we are. You can call them and you can file a request for help or complaint if you feel that your insurance company is not treating you right, or your insurance company is not answering your questions, or your insurance company is saying things that don't sound right to you. Then this is a place where you can go to get free help. You can call them, you can go to their website, but our website, the United Policyholders website, is for you to be your own best advocate, to get treated fairly and get every dime, every dollar that is available to you in that policy that you bought. And just to remind you, although I am a lawyer, I'm here as an educator. I'm not here to give you legal advice. If you need a lawyer, we know lots of good ones. You can go to our Find Help directory and find them. But hopefully you will be able to continue to navigate your claim on your own, using some of our information and the resources I will lay out today. what are our guiding principles? We encourage you to focus on documenting the full extent and value of your losses, meaning your home is gone and everything in it. Well, what will it cost to put all of that back? What would it cost to replace your home, the carriage, the whatever the structure was that you had, whether it was attached to a foundation or whether it was sitting on top of the soil, regardless, whatever you had, the focus should be on what it would cost to put an equivalent structure back. All right. So giving, and then the same thing with your stuff, your contents, personal property, those are two labels for the same thing. Three, contents, personal property, or stuff. And that is everything that would have fallen out of the house if somebody had turned it upside down. Okay. What are some of the principles we like to remind people of? Well, give your adjuster, the person that the insurance company sends out, give them a chance to do the right thing by you, but don't be a pushover. Recognize the reality of your situation. You have had a loss, you're the consumer. Insurance company is a business. They are in business to make a profit. So I'm not saying they want to necessarily cheat you, but they don't want to pay more than they have to. And you want them to pay everything they owe you. So you're not completely aligned with your insurance company in this situation. And so you have to watch out for yourself. And that's what we're here for, to help you watch out for yourself. And when we say leverage and negotiation, we're talking about what are the sources of power that you have when you're dealing with a big corporation, an insurance company that is probably nowhere near you. They probably have offices somewhere outside of the state or outside of your area. The adjuster that you're working with may also be from out of the state. And so it can be tough to negotiate because typically your insurance company uses words that you are not familiar with, words like depreciation, words like actual cash value, words like ALE, loss of use, and it can be intimidating. But we're here to tell you that you can get through this. And the best thing you can do is to be educated so that you really understand where you are and that you don't just think about the ads that you see on TV about, we're your good neighbor, we're here, we're your friend. They're not your friend. They may be friendly, but they're not your friend. This is about money, and you have to be prepared to stand up for yourself, use leverage. For example, the Department of Insurance is leverage. The law is leverage for you, a source of power, and then get help when you need it. So when we talk about speaking up, we're talking about being assertive, politely assertive, but assertive, saying, I am entitled to a fair settlement and I intend to get a fair settlement. So we recommend being very clear when you communicate with your insurance company. And the best way of doing that is to do it in writing. So two things: keep a claim diary for yourself, a journal. Any old notebook will do. We recommend that you write every day the date and who you talked to, what their phone number was, what they said, so that you can keep track, and that will help you stay organized on your path to recovery. We encourage you to communicate with your insurance company in writing also. So we say keep a written record for yourself and then write to them. Email is fine. That's the normal way a lot of people communicate these days. But if you're using the phone, then you need to take notes so you don't forget what you said and what the adjuster or somebody else involved with your claim might have said. Okay. By now, you should have a complete copy of your insurance policy. And we suggest making an extra copy, one that you can scribble on, and then one that stays clean. so that if the insurance company says something to you like, oh, we don't owe you that, or we don't pay for that, you can say to them, please show me where it says that in my policy. And if they can't show you that, then they cannot make that representation to you. Why a claim diary? Because that will help you stay organized, and it keeps you from wasting time going over something that may already have been agreed to. Sometimes after disasters, and this year we had a lot of wildfires, that puts a strain on insurance companies' staffing resources. And so sometimes they will rotate adjusters. They'll send you one guy or gal, and then they will go away and somebody new will come in. And the best thing you can do when that's happening is have your own diary of what each adjuster said, so that you're not starting from scratch every time somebody new comes along. All right. And when you are communicating with the insurance company, we recommend 2 words that describe how we suggest you get what you need and what you want. And that is polite assertiveness. So the idea is, I'm not trying to pick a fight, but I'm not going to get rolled over. I paid for this protection. So polite assertiveness is very important, especially in today's world where a lot of people are stressed out with COVID and just a lot of bad things happening this year, the wildfires. So really, just trying to keep things organized is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Okay. The checks your insurer may have given you may not be all you're entitled to. That's a very important point. So you may have already gotten checks from your insurer and they may have said, that's it, we're done. Maybe, maybe not. So one of the things I want you to think about today is, did they pay you everything that you're entitled to? And the only way to know that is to have a pretty good sense of the value of your loss, right? How much it would cost to replace your home and everything that was in it. And then match that with what they paid you or what they're offering you and what the policy says you're entitled to. So yeah, as it's not anyone's favorite thing to have to read an insurance policy, but because it means money to you, we really encourage you to read your policy and read it again so that you have a feeling, at least a little bit of a feeling for what those 4 buckets are, which I'm going to go through in a minute. And we understand that because we've been working with people after wildfires now for many, many years, that it's very disorienting to lose a home. You typically don't sleep well, and it's very hard to make decisions when you're tired. So we really encourage people in your situation to take your time and don't rush, because you have some time here. And sometimes adjusters, they want to move you along and rush you along because they want to close the file and move on to the next one because that's their job. But for you, you can resist that pressure until you feel like you are getting a fair treatment and you really know what the value of everything was that you lost. And it takes time to add all those things up, especially when you're tired. Okay, so you do need your policy. And insurance policies have what are called endorsements and riders. Sometimes they're add-ons. And if you don't have that policy yet, the best way to get it quickly, well, you certainly should have asked your insurance company for it, and you should email them. Or if you don't have email, you can call them, write that down in your journal that you called them on a certain day, and then call the Department of Insurance for free. They will help you make sure you get that policy contract sent to you. So you usually will have 4 buckets of coverage. For the dwelling, for other structures, if you had a garage or if you had a barn next to your manufactured home or mobile home, or if you had a pool above ground, below ground, personal property, and then your additional living expense. Some insurance companies will call it temporary living expense or loss of use. Again, it's the same thing. That's the category of benefits that pays your rent while you're not able to live in your home, and other expenses that you have because you aren't able to use your home. So extra gas, extra food, if you're living in a place where you don't have a full kitchen, that sort of thing. You can put those items in for your insurance company to cover if they haven't given you in advance. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So for mobile homeowners, manufactured homeowners, usually one of the biggest problems is what is the insurance company depreciating your place to the point where they don't give you enough money to replace it. This is what a typical mobile home policy will look like. It's a little hard to read, but you see those coverages, those dwelling, other structures, which is your outbuildings, your garage, retaining wall, your personal property, which I like to call your stuff, and then the ALE, additional living expense, right? And then you'll see that arrow, forms and endorsements. That's where you see those extra items that you may or may not have. This person had some extra coverage for water damage from sewers or drains. They had a very important piece here, replacement cost on personal property. Well, I certainly hope you have that, because that will give you more money to replace your stuff. So if you have that endorsement, that's a good thing. The next item there, extended replacement cost, also very helpful if you have that, because that again will give you more money to replace your dwelling. So one of the issues I know that a lot of people have with a mobile or manufactured home is that whoever owns the park, whoever owns the land, if it's not you, may not be maintaining it well. And that is a common problem that you may be having in trying to either get a permit or be able to put your house back. What are some of the other challenges you may have? Many people in your situation are underinsured. People who own standard homes are also often underinsured after wildfires, but it's a particular problem for mobile and manufactured homeowners because of the way that they depreciate the home in a policy. Now, I'm going to go back for a minute and show you this extended replacement provision would be helpful, because it means that the depreciation isn't going to be as big a problem for you. But if you don't have that and your home was only insured for its depreciated value, which is the as was used, that's not what it's going to cost to put it back. So hopefully you have that extra coverage, but if you don't, chances are you are underinsured. And there are not that many options on the market for insuring a home, a mobile or manufactured home. So you most likely are with one of these companies, Foremost or American Modern. Your choices might have been limited. Maybe you're with the FAIR plan. Again, you didn't have a whole lot of choice. Personal property coverage in a mobile home policy is often set at half of what the dwelling is insured for, and that often leaves people short on the amount of money you need. You may have problems with clearing your title. You may have problems with the land, and then you may have problems getting a salvage certificate in order to remove the home. And we've given you a phone number here to get help on that matter if you're having trouble with the salvage title of your home. So there are two ways that insurance companies will value your loss and pay it. One is replacement costs, which is the new, what it would cost you to buy an equivalent home at today's prices. That's replacement cost value. So again, if you have that better coverage, that's helpful. But many mobile and manufactured homes are covered only for actual cash value. That's that Craigslist used, what somebody would have paid. It's basically what a willing buyer would have paid you the day before that fire for your home. So again, if you're limited to only that, that can be very challenging. So always check that policy, your declarations page, that page that I showed you. I'm going to go back to it again. This guy, this is what's called the declarations page. You really need to read that, because sometimes there's extra money that you will find in those endorsements. Okay, so as I was explaining, you got replacement cost and you've got ACV, and that determines how much the insurer is going to pay you, either now or forever. Now, when I say now or forever, how insurers generally do things is they will depreciate an asset, your contents, your stuff, and your house, and pay you an amount for that used as was priced. And then when you replace it and you show them proof that you replaced that item, they will pay you the difference if you have replacement cost. But some policies limit payouts only to actual cash value, and that's how it goes. Okay, so I want to remind you about depreciation. If you feel that the insurance company is over depreciating, reducing the value of your stuff too much, I want to remind you that in California, we protect our consumers, and your adjuster may not know all the rules. That's one of the reasons that United Policyholders exists, is to give you the straight scoop. I'm not saying you can't trust everything that an adjuster says. I'm saying trust but verify by educating yourself, as you're doing right now. Because in California, it's not just the age of an item that matters for its value. It's also the condition, and that is California law. So just because something is old doesn't mean that it's worth a lot less if it's in good condition. So if you are taking very good care of your stuff and of your house, then it should be depreciated less. So that's something you may want to and need to argue about with your insurance company. You may say, you're depreciating my stuff too much. It was in good condition. And you can give them evidence of that, photographs, or you can offer to give a recorded statement, or you can get friends to confirm what you're telling them about the condition of your dwelling and your stuff. So some of the ways you can correct errors in an adjuster's estimate: photographs, public records, Google Earth, which you can go on Google Earth and you can see for free. You can see photos, aerial views from the sky, from a satellite, of the top of your house or the park or the site where your home was located, and that may help you. If your records were burned, which happens very often, you may be able to get records from your county or city, and then you can also see what information you can find on real estate sites such as Zillow. So again, condition and age matter in terms of how much your insurer pays you now and how much they will pay you by the time your claim is closed, by the time you've given them proof of what you had. For your stuff, your contents, you're going to want insurance companies these days, they're going to do it one of two ways. They're either going to say, we're not going to make you list everything, we're going to give you a lump sum payment, or they're going to say, you need to list everything. And and itemize everything. And a lot of the time, if your insurance company says, if you're underinsured, if you don't have enough insurance on your property, your insurance company is more likely to cut you a check without making you inventory. But United Policyholders has all kinds of tools to help you create that list. If the insurance company says you got to inventory and itemize everything, don't stress too much about it. Pace yourself. There's lots of ways to make it easier to make that list. We have samples on our website. Of ways for you to shortcut that painful process of listing and trying to value everything that you lost. It can be very painful, but there are ways to make it less painful, and we have tried to give you all of them. Your insurer may waive that itemization requirement, and I'm going to explain that to you in a minute. So as I said, in California, we protect consumers. And how do we do that? We have rules in what are called the Fair Claims Settlement Act, where your insurance company is supposed to respond to you within 15 days if you call them or you email or you write them. They have 40 days, only 40 days to pay or deny. Now, that they can extend that time, but they have to tell you why. They have to say, we're unable to pay or deny or pay what you're asking because we need more information, but they have to stay in touch with you. They can't just go silent on you. That's illegal, okay? And if your insurer is not behaving well, as I said earlier, you've got a free government agency, the Department of Insurance, that's supposed to be there to help you with things like where your insurer is not cooperating, okay? And one of the things that the Department of Insurance has done is to reach an agreement with insurance companies in California, not all of the insurance companies, but some of them, that they will give you 4 months advance on your temporary rent, and they will give you 25% of your contents limits. Now, some insurance companies will give you without the itemization, right? So some insurance companies will say, here, we're going to give you 75% of your contents limits, your property, your personal property insurance, without you having to make that list. If you want 100%, you're going to have to make the list. So that's a decision that you have to make. And if your insurance company has not, meaning the decision of, do you want to get your full 100% of the money they owe you, which means you're going to have to make those lists, or do you want to skip the list and take less than what you're entitled to? It's a decision you can make. Of course, I never recommend leaving any money on the table, and most people really can't afford to do that anyway. If you should ask your insurance company, are you complying with the voluntary claim handling reforms, right? If they say yes, then they should give you an advance, and they should be making your life easier. That's what these reforms were designed to do, is to make it easier for you, all right? And you can read about those rules at the Department of Insurance website. The commissioner published this in October. This is a list of all the companies that said they would be relaxing that items. They will not be making everybody itemized. You can see in the first column, insurance companies that agreed to offer at least the minimum advance on contents. That would be 25%. And you can see that American Modern is on there. That's an insurer that some of you may have. I do not see Foremost on here, but Farmers is on here, and Foremost, I think, is a division of Farmers. So it never hurts to ask. We always tell people you won't get it if you don't ask for it, and adjusters vary in how much they know. And if they say that you're not entitled to something, that should not be the last word for you. Okay. As I said earlier, 2/3 of people who lose their homes in a wildfire find themselves short on their insurance to put the house back, right? It's a very tough situation, but a very common one. What are some of the remedies? Finding and using leverage to convince the insurer to pay more than they technically owe based on that contract, by proving that it was their fault, that they give you reason to think that you were adequately insured. And to do that, you have to have some records of a communication that you had with them, a conversation that you had, an email exchange. And then your option there, if they refuse, which they generally will, until you put up a pretty big fight, and even then they may still refuse, your ultimate avenue is a lawsuit and a lawyer. And if a lot of you in your area, if you know other people who lost their homes in the wildfire and were insured with the same company or through the same agent, I highly recommend you get together with them as a group and talk about why you all are in the same situation and see whether there's something that you can do together. So if you're underinsured, you want to check for obvious errors, and then you want to go through these steps to figure out whether you are underinsured by no fault of your own, and that you did everything right and tried to insure your home adequately, but the insurance company or agent dropped the ball. And if that's the case, you start with an insurance company, person to company, and you make the ask. We offer sample letters for writing to an insurer and asking them to pay more, to pay the full amount that your home should have been insured for. Or we suggest then you can consult with a lawyer or the Department of Insurance. So remember, ads are ads, right? The insurance company is not your friend. They're a business. They want to minimize the money they pay. You want to maximize. So the adjuster may be friendly, but they're not your friend. They are trained to negotiate. Should you expect a fight? No. Some claims go smoothly from beginning to end, and we certainly hope yours does. But when large dollars are at stake, it's very common for people to have friction with their insurance company. Getting informed and being that squeaky wheel by using the tools that United Policy Holders offers for free at our website and through this workshop, to really be an advocate for yourself. So get it in writing, as I said, with that diary. When you're communicating with the insurance company, keep it professional. They didn't start the fire. So, just remember that this is business. So try to keep it business. Even if they are making you upset and frustrated, you still should try to be as businesslike as you can, and avoid venting your frustrations and emotions, because you want them to take you seriously, that you are that squeaky wheel that they must pay, or they're going to have to pay more down the road. So the more you understand about your rights, the more benefits you'll collect, and the more easy it will be for you to replace your home and get your life back the way it was. I want to thank all these amazing funders that have made it possible for us to bring you this workshop today. I want to remind you that we have a free library for you on our website 24/7, and that you can email us if you have a question at info@uphelp.org. And now I am not sure if I even have the ability